Good evening.
Good morning.
Good evening.
Oh, girl, you sound so dry. That's not a good morning. You guys sound excited. People on their way to work. Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, welcome back to the Pretty Picnic podcast. Today is a little bit different because we have a guest host. And our guest host is how should I describe him? The upcoming, no, I'm going to say your future favorite R&B singer. He goes by the name Ballad. So please welcome Ballad to the Pretty Picnic podcast.
Hi y'all. How y'all doing?
This is let me see, we've been friends for what? I want to say 6 years. I think we met in 2016 or 2017. That was back in when I can't even say when Tumblr was popular. It was when Tumblr was on the decline, I think.
Was it a decline then? I feel like it was at its prime around there.
Oh, maybe for you. You was probably still popping in, but I was not. I don't think anybody else that I knew was. Like, it was just not the same. I definitely think porn had already been like prohibited.
No, not yet. Absolutely.
It feels like a while ago though. But yes, that's my good friend. I'm so excited to have him here, and he is a guest host tonight, not a guest. So even though you will hear about what he's got going on and his career and everything, he's gonna be like one of us. He's gonna be like me and Yanni telling his story. So yeah, thank you for coming and sitting on our picnic blanket with us.
Of course. Thank y'all for having me.
Okay, so today I guess I'll talk about my TV and movie updates first, because since it's been so long since we recorded an episode, I have watched like almost one movie every single day. So it's been like 2 weeks worth of movies. I'm not gonna talk about all of them because it's too much. But
you said every day?
Yeah. Like I said,
okay.
Stay at home, mom. We watch just some TV, okay? Like, we have a schedule. I have a different category of movie that I have to watch every night on a different platform, and I got like 7 different platforms. So this week was Netflix week. Last week was Hulu week. So, and actually, we was in the middle of HBO Max week before we stopped recording episodes. So my drama films were Bessie, Bruised. I think just Bessie and Bruised. Yeah, so Bessie, as you all probably know, is about Bessie Smith, portrayed by Queen Latifah. And that one was really completely different from what I expected. It was good though. Like, I'm not saying that in a bad way. It was good. I've only seen GIFs. Like, I've seen the GIF of the whole brown paper bag thing, because when Bessie was looking for female background singers and stuff, back then they had the brown paper bag rule where you had to be lighter than it, but her rule was that you had to be darker than the brown paper bag. So I've seen that GIF, and that was like one of them that made me interested in also seeing her with Tika Sumpter. Because I didn't realize that she, I think she was bisexual, not a lesbian, but she was in a lesbian relationship. Well, a couple of them throughout the movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah. She was in a couple sexual relationships, but they were with both men and women. And then also one of her colleagues and friends was, what is her name? Who did Viola Davis play? And then Netflix made a movie with Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman, and she was playing.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know
something Rainey, like Mama Rainey or Ma Rainey. Yes, she was also lesbian. Well, she was. I don't know if she was a lesbian, but she did lesbian things. She was in lesbian relationships. So I didn't even know that before watching the movie, but they get into that. And also obviously her music and like kind of being turned away. Like she kind of there was a quote unquote black label, a big black label that reached out to her, and she thought it was about to be her big break. And then when she got there, it was like these what do they call them? What do they call people who are like 1/8 black? I forget the name. It's Octa something, but and they just like kind of turned her away after seeing her in person, like seeing her in all her blackness and her big personality, because she had a really big personality. And it was just, I don't know, it just went through all the trials and tribulations of her like being a woman in the music industry and how she didn't take no shit from nobody. But yeah, it was good. That was a good one. I would definitely recommend Bessie. It's on HBO Max. And then Bruised, we just saw on Netflix, is the Halle Berry movie. I think it came out last year. And it was about her kind of, well, the beginning is right after she kind of like fell from her throne as this huge female boxer who hadn't lost any matches. And then she finally loses one, and it's like it completely destroys her career, and she kind of gives up. She thinks that's the end of it. And the movie is basically showing her like kind of getting back into the ring while also dealing with a whole bunch of different issues that don't have anything to do with boxing. Like the most random things are thrown at her. That one was also good. The only thing that I really did not like, that one also had a lesbian relationship in it. Coincidentally. But the thing I didn't like about that one was, have you ever seen those have you ever seen a movie that has a couple in it that's like cussing each other out, fighting, calling each other names, looking like they're about to beat each other ass, and the next thing you know they start fucking?
Yeah, all the time.
I hate that shit so much. And her boyfriend, who was also her boxing manager, they did that. And it was like, okay. It's like when you watch it, I see it coming. I'm just like, these niggas got issues. I hate this shit. But yeah, other than that cringeworthy moment, it's pretty good. It was some slightly unrealistic stuff that happened in it. Like Halle Berry's tiny old ass beat up this giant woman who was like the fucking Hulk. So that was like, okay, sure. But it was good.
I mean, you gotta give the movie some excitement, right?
I mean, hey, I guess so. Anywho, the comedy that I watched was Not Okay. You probably seen people tweeting about this because the actor Dylan O'Brien is in it with bleach blonde hair. And he plays first of all, Dylan O'Brien is like one of the only white men that I would admit to having a crush on. And he plays like that corny white dude who's trying to be hood and has a black accent, and whereas he dresses like how he thinks black people dress. That kind of thing. He played it so fucking well. It was hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie. He played it so well. And it's supposed to be like satire. Like the movie definitely makes fun of him being that way.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that movie, I don't know if you've seen or heard of the documentary called The Woman Who Wasn't There. But it's a documentary about a woman who lied about being present for the 9/11 attacks and joins all these groups for victims who actually did experience that or lost people, who died in the attacks. And she's...
Wait, you said documentary, so this was real?
Yeah, The Woman Who Wasn't There is a documentary, but this movie Not Okay is about a girl who kind of does she basically does do the same thing, except it's a bombing in Paris, and she pretended that she was there. She was trying to get the attention of the corny white guy, because she just wants to fuck him. And then they do end up fucking, and it's like 10 seconds long. She hates every minute of it. But now she's already like so deep into this lie, and she's doing like press conferences and like appearances and stuff about it with this girl who actually lived through a school shooting that took the life of her sister. So she's making it like 10 times worse than it had to be. But yeah, I'm giving away too much. I'm sorry for anybody who wants to
You're giving
watch
away
that.
almost all of it.
To watch that movie. I mean, it's still definitely worthy of watching. It's hilarious. Like it bases everything off of like internet memes and the thought process of the internet and social media and how people react to things. Is perfect. It really is. Okay. I'm gonna leave it at that because I feel like I've talked about movies too much. Actually, no, I am gonna ask if you guys have seen the Black Panther trailer.
I have.
How did you feel
about it? So I'll be honest. I did not think that I would watch the next Black Panther movie, but after seeing that trailer, I was just like, okay, you got me.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm liking the direction that they're taking it, and it feels like it's gonna be like very close to the heart because even that trailer got a little emotional. So I'm like, okay,
a lot of people
all right,
said
you
they
got me.
cried.
Yeah, I've heard that so many times.
Yeah, I was kind of like feeling the same way, like as you described, because I'm like, what is it gonna be without Chadwick? Or like, what direction could they possibly go in? Because they already said that they're not replacing him. So I'm like, what's about to happen? I'm thinking it's gonna be a movie that's completely about Shuri or something, which is not bad. But when I saw the first Black Panther, I just wasn't expecting it to go that way. But like you said, when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, it's a lot. It looks like there's a lot of different things going on. It looks like they are gonna like kill him off in the next movie because they had like this painting of his face that kind of looked like in memoriam, and everybody's like sad. And I think Angela Bassett's character even mentioned that she had lost like her whole family. Everything. Yeah. I saw a woman giving birth underwater, and I was like, okay, let me keep watching. What's going on? Yeah,
they got me in.
It looks like there's a lot going on. Okay, so I think it was last episode, I told everybody about Kenan and Kel and all that being on Netflix and how they need to, go look at that. I just want to say scratch that. Paramount Plus has literally every Nickelodeon show from the 90s and the early 2000s, and I only just found this out, and I've had a subscription for this entire year. And they don't just have a limited amount of seasons like Netflix does. I think Netflix has 2 seasons of all that and of Kenan and Kel. They have everything. So they have all that. They have Kenan and Kel. They have the Amanda Show. They have Kablam. They have SpongeBob. They have Allegra's Window, which is something I watched when I was fucking 4 years old. They have everything you can think of. Of course, did I say SpongeBob? They have Dora the Explorer.
You did. Yeah.
They have Blue's Clues from day one. I remember when Blue's Clues came out.
Day one Blue's Clues.
I was there.
See, this is the thing. There's too many subscription services that I can't.
Well, Paramount Plus is only $5.44 a month.
They're only ever start off so small until they keep adding,
until they get a bunch of viewers.
I mean, look at Netflix now. I'm like, yo, are y'all serious?
That is true. I'm not even gonna lie. You got me there, but I'm just putting it out there for anybody who is a huge Nick fan, as I was. Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy, Real Monsters. They have all of it. So if the Gullah Gullah Island.
You're like making my brain go in places that it hasn't in a very long time.
Right? Right? I'm such a nostalgia enthusiast. So if I'm just putting it out there, I'm just trying to help a fellow 90s kid. And while we're talking about the 90s, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about movies and film anymore, but I can't help it. I also watched the documentary Kid 90 on Hulu, which is a documentary by... Okay, I can't remember her real name, but I don't know why I can't remember it. She plays Zoe on The Proud Family, and Proud Family Louder and Prouder, but she's known for her role as I think it's from the 80s. I think it started and went into the 90s. But yeah, she's known for being Punky Brewster. I don't know if you heard of that. It's a little bit before my time. But I think you should have heard of it, Ballad.
I mean, it sounds kind of familiar, but I don't think something that I watched.
Yeah, it probably wasn't something that you watched. But yeah, that's what she's popular for. But yeah, she recorded like everything when she was a teenager in the 90s. And she had all these celebrity 90s friends like Leo DiCaprio, like teenage Leo DiCaprio, 20-something Charlie Sheen, teenage the cast of 90210, like all the popular like 90s actors from then. And it was really interesting to watch. It just talks about like their personal lives, their friendships, stuff they were doing as regular teenagers, but like seen through the public eye because they were celebrities, and also talking about kind of the hard, depressing things that teenagers go through in that life, because there were a couple of them that, you know, didn't make it out. Like I forget his real name as well, but he was on Next Friday and Kids. He was the white guy in Next Friday that was on a skateboard. Yeah, I forget his name, but he was one of those popular teenagers in the 90s, celebrity in the 90s that like I said, he didn't make it out. And there's a few of them that she talks about. So, but it's mostly an uplifting documentary, and it's 90s. Like, I don't know, if you love the 90s, then it's just that vibe. Then you're gonna enjoy watching it. Okay, yeah. Now I'm done talking about movies and film. Did y'all want to talk about anything that y'all have seen recently? Or should we move on to personal updates? Because I've been talking for a long ass time, actually.
I mean, I think the only thing I've been watching is The Office. I've been rewatching that.
Oh, yeah.
It's been my comfort show. Yeah. Like, I go through, like, comfort shows.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, The Office is it for me. So every time I'm eating, I'll turn it on to eat while I watch that. And I'm just soaked in it all over again. I've watched that series so many times.
Yeah, me too.
But that's what I'm watching now. Yeah.
That's definitely one of my comfort shows. That and Sex in the City. I've seen
I don't understand how people don't like it. I just don't.
I think they just want to be different, honestly. I think they just want to be different. Get it. It's like people who don't like Beyonce. They just want to be different. So
right.
It's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, The Office is one of my comfort shows. So I'm actually overdue to watch it again. So I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, can I share something with y'all that's kind of embarrassing?
What's going on?
I have come up with my own personal COVID conspiracy. But wait, hear me out. It's not a bad one though. It's like actually like okay, I'm gonna just explain myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, as y'all know, I've talked about this like pretty publicly. I am used to having, since 2016, I've had debilitatingly painful periods every single month, right? And up until I gave birth. Now, you know, we always hear that thing where like when you give birth to a baby, it changes like your period and it's not going to be painful anymore. Like that's happened to so many people. And that's what everybody was telling me. So I thought that the reason that my pain went away was because I had a baby. But listen to this. I got my first dose of the COVID vaccine a week after I gave birth, right? I didn't get... Oh, and then I got the second dose in the first week of January. I didn't get my first postpartum period until I was 10 weeks postpartum. So it's way after that. Completely painless. It's painless every month up until the month that I missed my booster. And so that month I had a painful period. And I was throwing up and everything. It wasn't as bad as, it wasn't to the extent of what it used to be, but it was still a bad period. Obviously, it's not normal to be in debilitating pain or throwing up on your period. The month that I was supposed to get my booster, I didn't. I got my booster a month late. And that month I had a debilitating period. So I get my booster the next month and suddenly my period is painless again.
It's actually kind of crazy.
Explain that, right?
I can't. I mean, I know there's been cases where they kind of link to it, but usually it's the opposite of that. Usually they've had more pain,
Well,
like severe pain that they
I
never
saw
had
that
before.
too. I saw that too. And you know what? My explanation for that is that those women already had, decent periods. So it's like it just got worse, which is that also happens after birth though, that like a lot of women who give birth say their periods a lot worse afterwards. But mine literally could not get worse. It can only get better. It's literally like dying every month.
Yeesh.
So and then I actually talked to my mom about it. She was like, yeah, when I got my shot, she had like this kind of ongoing arm pain for like soreness for a long, I don't know exactly how long, but I know at least several months, maybe even longer. And she said after she got her first shot, she never felt it again. And I'm like, bruh, like what if the COVID vaccine actually like cures like certain pain? I don't know what kind of pain. Maybe it just picks and chooses. I don't know. But that would be crazy.
Conspiracy on your hands.
So it's like I'm kind of joking about it, but at the same time, I'm kind of really thinking about it. Like, what? So that's my little COVID conspiracy. I don't know if anybody else has a story like that, then they can tell me about. Well, tell us about it. We're at the Pretty Picnic Pod. You can tell us about it. But yeah, that's my story. Also have kind of it is a big update. So the reason that we didn't record for a few weeks is because I moved. Finally I was staying with my mom from the time I was 6.5 months pregnant until a couple weeks ago. So me and my daughter, we finally got a place of our own, and it's a steal too. We got a 2-bedroom in Chicago, 1,000 square feet for under $1,200, and that would usually be like $1,400 to $1,500, like especially when it has nice hardwood floors and like stainless steel appliances and a nice bathroom and stuff like that. And when it's that big. So we definitely got it. I'm not gonna say exactly how much I'm paying for it, but we got it for under $1,200. So that's all you need to know.
Congrats.
Thank
That's amazing.
you. Thank you. I literally been looking at Facebook Marketplace listings ever since we moved in, looking at other apartments that cost the same, and I'm like, damn, they getting that for the same, like $50 less than me, and they got one less room and 300 less square feet. I'm just like, damn, I got this shit for a steal. Like, it's crazy. I always see kind of like hidden gems like that when I'm looking for apartments, but I never snatch them up before somebody else does because they go so quickly. So I can't believe I got this. I like the neighborhood. It's a Black and Hispanic neighborhood, which is what I grew up in as a kid. So I'm accustomed to it. I'm like, I'm finally back in a neighborhood where the elote man comes around and the man with the chocolate popsicles. So I'm excited. We like it. Well, we love it. Thank you. We love it so far. So I just can't wait till this Christmas because it's gonna be Michael's first like real legit Christmas. Like she was here for Christmas last year, but she was only a month old, so she didn't know what the fuck was going on. But it's gonna be her first real Christmas this year, so I'm excited that we get to have our own Christmas tree, and I get to I can't believe it's my turn to put gifts under the tree for my child. It's crazy. Like my parents
Might have
are
to
just
stop
doing
by
this
this
for
Christmas.
me. We're so old. Oh my god. Well, Yanni's not old yet, but me and Ballad are old. But yeah.
Don't be giving out my business like that.
Look, if you my friend, you old.
I'm young. We all young.
All right, one last thing, because I've been like, I've had so much built up over the past couple of weeks. That's the only reason I have so many like things to talk about. But I saw an article like 2 days ago that said that Georgia, the state of Georgia, is gonna start allowing parents to claim unborn children for child tax, the child tax thingy thing. It's like, I guess if you're pregnant, even though you haven't had your baby yet, because usually you have to give birth like the year before, right, to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently they're about to start allowing that to happen. I thought that was really interesting because that's one of the things that, like, when the whole abortion ban was happening and how they're saying, oh, 6 weeks pregnant, is a human being, that was one of the things that people were saying should count then. Like, oh, well, we should be able to get child support payments from that age or from that time. Like once a person is 6 weeks pregnant, they should be able to get child support payments. They should be able to do whatever would count that baby as a human being, but actually benefit the person that's giving birth to them. So I thought that was really interesting. I did not see that coming.
Me neither, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, but it still doesn't really.
No, it just helps
help the whole situation, right? It's just like, I like it, but yeah,
you're like, I like it, but at what cost?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. If that actually becomes a thing, and if other states follow suit, and what else happens after they decide to make that a thing. So we'll see. Anything else from you guys?
Nothing that I can think of.
That's
for
good.
me, anyway.
That's fine. What about you, Yanni? All right. So today's excerpt goes like this. When I was 8 years old, Daddy bought us our first computer. It was a 1998 Windows with a CD-ROM and floppy disk drive. Daddy bought us a bunch of educational games like the Oregon Trail and Mission Think, but the only CD-ROM I was required to use every day was Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing 9. At 8 years old, Mavis Beacon became my life. I sat at the computer desk every day, unwillingly working through lessons and tests. I didn't think I was doing well and tried to quit out of frustration many times, but Daddy wasn't having it. One day, after only a few weeks, I realized that I was picking up speed and typing without looking at the keyboard. By the time I was 9 years old, I had perfected my skills and could type up to 130 words per minute if I wanted. Not only was this a new skill that I used to impress my peers and the adults in my life, but it also meant I could finally start typing and printing my short stories like real published books. The end. So, basically, that excerpt and what this episode is going to be about is how we all discovered our talents, which talents we turned into careers, and how we honed those things and got to where we are today. And also, we're going to get into how social media has helped us in that aspect. So I'm going to start. Oh, wait, did y'all have any thoughts on that?
I feel like that's a very, very fast way of typing.
It is. 130 words per minute is like OD.
I'm like, wait, hold on.
It's OD. Don't get me wrong. I don't type that way on a regular basis. But like, if somebody gave me a speed test and I'm like, I'm about to type the fastest I possibly can, I can do up to 130.
That's crazy. Because like, I think the average is probably like 40 or something like that. So that's...
Yeah, on job applications,
Kudos.
They only be requiring, and for like data entry and stuff, they be requiring like 35 words per minute. And I'm like, okay,
Kudos.
Shit, that ain't nothing. I got this, but thank you.
Because I don't know how fast I type, but it's not that.
Yeah, my daddy was not playing with me with that fucking Mavis Beacon. Like, he made me get on that shit every day. I was 8 years old. And that was at an age where I didn't even fuck with the computer. I thought computer was like for super, like, I thought it was for like scientists or something. Honestly, I didn't think it was for the everyday person. So I had no interest in the computer at all. But yeah.
I get that.
So
I thought the computer was for video games.
Well, that too. But I wasn't like a computer gamer back then. I didn't become a computer gamer until a couple years ago when I started playing Apex. So, yeah. But yeah, we only play educational games on there though, which is also like it's bringing me so much nostalgia, like talking about the 90s and then talking about this and like the floppy disk drive. I remember saving stuff to my floppy disk. Like,
Me too.
kids, they don't know nothing about that. A fucking floppy disk. Like, we don't even use flash drives anymore. We're on to external hard drives. Like,
Listen, they don't know the struggle of
They
listening to the radio. I'm about to get my age, I think.
do
Listening
it.
to the radio, having your tape cassette ready to get your favorite song to record it. That way you can listen to it on tape. Like, they don't know that struggle.
I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna touch on that a little bit later in this episode. Like, we about to go all the way back. This is the one of the best things about this podcast is that we're on episode 7, right? Yeah, episode 7. We're still in the 90s right now. Well, yeah, 1999. So, all right. So my talents, a lot of people don't know this about me because it's kind of something that I just don't do publicly anymore. I do it privately every day. But before I was ever an artist, like a visual artist, before I was writing books and stuff, I was a singer. I mean, I'm still a singer, but singing is the very first, like, really, I don't want to say really big talent, but that talent that like I discovered in myself that really drew people to me, and like really shocked people. So I started
Interesting.
singing when I was 9 years old. And I discovered that I could sing because we were in music class when I was in elementary school. We're in music class. Do y'all hear that?
What?
It just got staticky for me. Oh, okay, it's gone. I don't know what that was. Anyway, I was in music class and we were singing, like the whole class was singing. I think it was the what's the Black national anthem? Lift every voice and sing.
Yeah.
So the teacher picked like different people to just sing different parts of it like alone. And it wasn't a singing contest by any means. It was just participating in music class. So nobody can sing. So nobody's taking it seriously. I didn't know I could sing. But when I got up there and I started singing, you just see everybody's faces like, what the hell? And it's not like I wasn't doing anything like too amazing. I think it was just the fact that I was so young and I could already like hit a note, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm singing and my music teacher is like, well, hold on. And she pulled me aside and she like immediately told me like, I need you in the choir. So I went home, told my mom about it. She was like geeked for me. And we did that. I joined the choir, the school choir. And before I even like really got into that, I had this little toy keyboard. You know, the toy keyboard that every little kid has. Like, we all get a toy keyboard, or was that just me?
It wasn't me.
What? Swear. That's so funny because you actually play instruments now and I don't. But anyway, I had a keyboard. And I took the song that we were learning in the choir and I went and learned how to play it by ear on the keyboard. And it's not even something that I knew was a thing, like playing instruments by ear, or that it was like this skill or anything. I just literally went home and was playing on my shit and was like, oh, okay. Listening, like, let me try to do this. And I just learned how to play it. And I went back to school that week and I played it on the big keyboard. So I had to kind of relearn it on the big keyboard because it had way more keys. So I had to find them. And I played it for my music teacher and she gave me an A for the whole rest of the year for that. So that was like...
That's a flex. That's a flex.
I know, right? I told you. That was like something that I just always think about whenever I talk about like how I started singing. But yeah, that's how I started singing. That's how I discovered that I could sing. Was it like that for you where it was something that was it something that you intentionally got into and learned or tried to learn, or was it something that you just kind of found out?
I can say that my experience with it was nothing like yours. Um, it was something that I didn't even know I could do um, for a good while. Um,
So is it it's
yeah,
something you figured out later in life?
yeah, it's something I figured out later in life as I got more comfortable, kind of just doing it openly, and like more people would hear, and they're like, "Wait, hold on, wait a second, you can kind of sing." I'm like,
Right.
I don't know about that."
It's like when other people tell you that you can sing, you really don't know because people be gassing a lot of shit. And
Yeah,
you just
I,
like,
I
I don't know. Like I hear myself and I think I sound nice, but at the same time, especially people who we all know this because we've seen American Idol auditions. People who love you will tell you what you want to hear.
yeah,
So it's I don't know. It's kind of hard when it comes to singing because it's so and then it's so subjective as well. It's
that
like
too.
some people will say we already talked about Beyonce, but some people say Beyonce can't sing. It's like really like
I
what
mean,
are
they make
you
it easier
listening
for us. You
to?
know who not to trust.
That's true. But it's just like, what do I don't know. Different people's ears hear vastly different things sometimes.
Yeah,
So it's just hard when it comes to a talent like that.
yeah. I know
Um.
I was someone that always wanted to sing, but never knew that I could actually sing. Like I wanted people to be like, "Oh, you can sing," but
Oh, so it
I
it
didn't.
was something that you did want to do.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, but it wasn't something
Okay.
that I could do. I did want to do it because it's like all my favorite people were singers. So it's just like, oh man, I would love to do
Aw.
that. But it was literally just a dream because I literally did not think that I could do it.
That's cute. You said all the people that you love were singers. That's so cute. Okay. So do you have any talents that I don't know about? We know singing is number one. And we
Yeah.
know you can play the guitar. Well, they don't know that, but I know. Now you guys know Ballad can play the guitar.
Yes, I can play the guitar on a beginner level. Don't
I mean,
don't
he plays it
misguide
good
them.
enough. Listen, if you can play an instrument at any level, gee, that shit is dope to me. And the guitar is my favorite and it's one that I've tried to learn. I was actually doing pretty well, but then I stopped going to class. But if you can play the guitar, I really like just look up to you in a different way. For real. But yeah, other than singing and playing guitar and any other do you play any other instruments?
So I got a bass that I'm still learning. I'm actually gonna play some bass on. Well, I'm gonna try to play some bass on one of my
Love
songs.
bass.
So I'm still learning that. And then I have a saxophone, which I'm very terrible at, but my goal is to become
Really?
really good. Yeah. The saxophone is my favorite.
I did not know that you were trying to learn how to play the sax. That's interesting. I'm
You know,
excited for
because
that.
because I love
I
hearing it
want to
in
hear
my
that.
songs. So if I can actually be able to do that instead of try to get people to do it for me, it'd be
Yeah,
marvelous.
exactly. Oh, you sound like me. I swear I be trying to do everything myself. Like as an artist, I'm like I try to create everything for myself, my entire branding, design my website, all that shit. Cause I'm like I'm not. Why am I paying somebody else to do it when I could do it? And I have it in my head. I have the vision already.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, anything else outside of instruments and singing that I know?
So this might be a little surprising, especially for you.
Uh-oh.
So the first, I think, skill that I thought that I had was actually drawing.
Oh really? Yeah. When was this and what did you used to draw? I feel like everybody
um,
started out as an artist, G. Like all kids start out as artists because they make you draw in school anyway. So it's
mhm.
like it just comes naturally. But what did
Yeah.
you so were you a kid when you were drawing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. It's like different. It's like different occasions in my life where I just drew something that was like really, really good. And I'm like, when did I do that? Because sometimes hasn't happened the longest of times, but I'll just like zone out and I won't have a thought in my mind. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I just create something like really, really good, I guess. I think the first time is like I was painting probably for art class and I painted a lake some trees, birds in the sky, some swan in the water as well. And then my homeroom teacher, she was just like, "This is really beautiful. Can I have this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And she framed it in her home. In her home. I was like,
He said in
"What?"
her home, like she
In her
she made
home,
that
she
shit
framed
legit.
it. Bruh. I was like, "What?" It was okay. And I was really small at that time. I think I was probably like, what? I don't know, maybe 8, 9 or something like that.
Yep, that's
Cause
the age.
it was like third grade or
That's
something
when
like
everybody is peak artists. I swear.
that. And then I think a couple of grades after that, I drew the Rugrats out of nowhere. And it was like really, it looked like I traced it. I even thought, did I trace this? But there was no way I could have because it was on like, not cardboard, but it was like on paper that you can't see through.
Mm.
So it's like there's no way I could have traced this. I made this. I don't know how. And like I zoned out, but I think the bell had rung before I did Dill's hand. So here's the thing. Whenever I
Dill.
went back to try to finish the hand, it just like this looks like crap. How did I make
Oh, so
this and I can't like
So you had well, first of all, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna say 85% of artists are bad at hands. So that's completely understandable that the rest of it was dope and then the hands was bad. That actually is
No,
that
the
makes
hands were good.
100% sense.
Except that one hand
Oh,
that
just
I
that
had
hand.
that I had to finish because I didn't finish during the time. Like it's one thing that I've learned.
Oh.
Whenever I think about it, I can't do it. It doesn't happen. Like if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna draw this, it will not look good. But when I'm not thinking, like completely black out, how did you create this?
See, I was gonna say maybe you had the talent for just that one day, and then when you went back to it, you lost it.
That's kind of sad.
Like Peter, I don't know if y'all watch Family Guy, but there was an episode where Peter could play the piano whenever he was drunk.
Yeah.
Like I was about to ask, was you drunk that first day?
No. It happened again, like years ago. After I think in middle school, it happened one more time, and I was like, "What?" It just
sporadic.
random times in my life. Yeah, sporadic. So yeah, that was the first one. Obviously, I never did anything with it. My sister is really good, so I guess it kind of runs in the family.
Well, I wonder if you tried to draw something today, what it would look like. Like try to draw that same picture.
Absolutely not.
Did you have?
I won't embarrass myself.
I'll call it. I guess. Did you have an early on artist phase too, Yanni?
No, not at all.
So you never drew, or did you draw? You just wasn't.
I mean, I drew, but it just
good at it.
It wasn't good.
I don't know. I think you should like let me be the judge of that. Like,
why are you trying to have us embarrass ourselves?
But people see that's because people don't be knowing their own talent. That's why. Especially people who draw.
I would tell y'all if I was good. I was not good at all.
Man, you don't know. Let me look at that shit.
Like it's making me think of so many things. But I think once I drew, I don't know where I drew this from. I just thought of I drew a zebra running away from a lion and like the lion pouncing on it. And it was from my memory right now and from what everybody said then.
From your
memory.
So good. Oh,
yeah, right. You know, your memory can play tricks on you. You be like, yo, it was so good. You go back and like,
oh, well, yeah.
What was
that? I
you know what I mean?
Your memory can play tricks on you. Yeah. Things be seeming so dope in the past.
Yeah.
And then in the future, it's just like.
That wasn't it, fam. But at the time, people really thought it was really cool. And I was like, I don't know where this came from. Like, it was another one of those moments where it just happened.
Well, I, for one, would love to see a ballad piece in 2022. But I'm gonna leave that up to you if you want to do one. Anyway, moving on. So I just want to point out that when I was a kid, you know, I don't know if people still do it. I'm sure they do. But, you know, when we were kids, people always asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up. And my answer at that age was always that I wanted to be an artist. And the crazy thing about it is it was literally just something I was just spitting out when people would ask. It
Yeah.
wasn't something I was actively moving towards or like trying to do. I was just pictured myself like wearing what's that hat, a beret, like that French hat, and
Yeah.
holding the I don't even know what that shit is called, the thing that people use to mix their paints. Like they hold it in their left hand, they hold the paintbrush in their right hand, and they're painting on a canvas. That's how I imagined myself when I said I wanted to be an artist. But like I said, it wasn't anything that I was like, it wasn't anything I was actually doing or like actually working towards,
Yeah.
or nothing. And so it's kind of crazy to me that I actually ended up becoming that unexpectedly. And I'm gonna get into the story of how I became an artist too, but I just always think about that because it's funny to me. And I don't know if, well, you said that you wanted to be a singer like kind of later in life, or
Mm-hmm.
so what was your answer when people would ask you, think of 8-year-old Ballad? What was your
I
answer?
think I had two. I had two. The first one, I wanted to be the president of Angola.
Oh my God. That
I mean, that's
one,
what
I mean, hey,
that's what I wanted to be as a kid for
it's ambitious,
some odd reason. Yeah,
but
very
that's what they
ambitious.
kind of push you towards anyway. Like you should want to be the
Mm-hmm.
president or a doctor or a scientist.
Right. And I think the second one was an astronaut.
Oh, you had two ambitious.
I had two ambitious ass ones.
Okay, did you ever go to, wait, is astronaut camp real or is that just something they talk about in TV shows?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Your guess is as good as mine on that.
Okay, I was about to ask you if you ever went to astronaut camp, but now I'm starting to feel like it's not real, so I'm gonna just shut up. But did you ever
It
go to
might
like
be.
a space camp or like anything
Absolutely not.
related to becoming an astronaut or the president?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay. See, I feel like that's gonna be the trend for all of us. What about you, Yanni? What did 8-year-old Yanni want to be when she grows up?
Well, I had two, but they're at different ages. When I was 5, I said I always wanted to be a cowgirl, which is actually not too far fetched because to this day I'm always drawn to farms and horses, and I want one someday, and I'm gonna get one.
Okay.
And
It could
Okay.
happen. It's not unattainable.
yeah, and then the second one is I wanted to be a veterinarian. That was when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
It
That's
goes hand in
kinda
hand,
like
yeah.
Not directly related. Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's not like directly
Very
related,
similar.
but they're kind of, yeah, you could be taking care of the horses and stuff. Oh, the cows. Wait. Do they, yeah, the
Yeah.
cows. They mess with cows. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. And so did you do anything, like I know you say you're still drawn to animals and farms and stuff, but did you actually like do anything to kind of get you on track to become
And then
a veterinarian or anything?
I was going to go to school to be a veterinarian until I realized the negative side of being a veterinarian. And just like, no, because
Uh-oh.
I can't hurt the animals. I couldn't do it. Because I know sometimes
Wait,
you
which
have to
negative
like
side?
put animals down or stuff like that. And I just couldn't bring myself
Right.
because I love animals too much to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, usually when they have to get put down, it's to take pain away from them, right? You know, put them out of.
And I would be that one
I don't wanna
veterinarian
say put them out of their
crying
misery,
in the
but
freaking corner because
yeah, that wouldn't be good.
so
Well,
How could you do this?
I can't.
that's sweet though. But yeah, I actually went to an agricultural school, and we had a farm, and we had like different pathways, which is basically like a major, but it was high school. So one of them was animal science, and we all had to cycle through every pathway to figure out which one we wanted to be a part of by junior year. So when we did animal science, oh my God, I mean, they were doing the most disgusting things. I mean, they had those plastic gloves that go all the way up to your shoulders so that they can reach their arm in cow
Yeah.
butts. Yes, they have to go that deep. I don't know what the fuck they had to do it for, but They had to do
Sometimes it
that,
helps
and then there were
to
like
regulate their
rabbits
poop.
with. Oh no, they need to figure that out. They need to start eating better because
Oh
I ain't
my
doing that
God.
shit for real. They need to get some more fiber in their
Sometimes they
diet.
constipated.
I don't know how. Don't they eat grass?
The cows, yes, they do.
Like, I mean, I guess grass ain't that nutritious, probably. But yeah, well, they do eat like grass and hay, so I guess I could see them being constipated. But look, that ain't my problem. They better figure it out, and then it'll be like rabbits and stuff too, because they let you bring your pets in when they had issues, or just bring them in. Like people will be walking their dog in the hallway.
Right.
Who'd you go to?
It was in agricultural school. Listen.
I'm
There
like,
was
wait.
ag, mech tech,
There's cool
agriculture,
options?
mechanical technology, I believe that stands for. And people could bring in their cars to get an oil change. And then I was in food science, and we had our own fucking storefront. People could come in before class, like 6 something in the morning, and buy cupcakes and muffins from us, and we would earn that money.
What?
Yes, it was dope. Now that I think about it, I mean, at the time I was like, I hate the school, but I think about it. That part of it was pretty dope.
That
It was
I
pretty
don't think a
dope.
lot of people had.
Well, should have had a farm in your backyard. Hey. But yeah, so people were bringing their pets and stuff, and like I remember this one girl had a rabbit that had these tumors that were filled with pus, and they was like taking care of that. It was so gross. So yeah, I definitely couldn't be in animal science or be a veterinarian. That shit is all the way down. I love animals. Well, I love small animals. I love baby animals. That's what I'll say. I love the baby version of animals, and some larger ones, but it depends. But yeah, I couldn't be no vet. I probably couldn't, put somebody's pet down either, to be honest. So I feel that. But what about the cowgirl? The cowgirl thing. How do you become a cowgirl?
I think you just start with
I don't
getting
even
yourself
know.
a farm and then just going for the mayor.
Okay, well, I am crossing my fingers that Yanni gets her own farm one day and becomes a cowgirl.
It's gonna happen.
Yes, it is.
That sounds so
Right.
peaceful.
Apparently it is, except you gotta take care of everything on the farm. Like, you're gonna need some help, girl.
Hopefully, whoever I marry is into that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep that to myself. I'm gonna keep it to myself. I want to talk about a situation where I was trying to utilize my gift. In this case, my gift of singing. And it was like kind of like my first real failure, I guess it was my first failure. So I'm 8 years old. I'm in 3rd grade. So this is the same like school year that I even find out that I can sing. And I'm just, so used to hearing compliments all the time. You used to getting compliments all the time, and you thinking that you're doing good.
Yeah.
And so everything was going really well, and then we ended up having a Christmas assembly, which we did every year, and of course the choir, which I was a part of, was gonna sing in it, and we were singing some song about Jesus. I don't know why, because it was a public school, but we were singing this song about Jesus, and for some reason I had to sing lead with this other little girl she was in my class. She was the same age as me, but she could not sing. I don't even know why she was in the choir. So I thought that was weird, because every time we practiced, I sang by myself. But they were like, no, you guys are going to sing lead together. So the day of the assembly, I mean, we practiced this probably a million times, beforehand. And once we got on stage and we was in front of the whole school, and we sung like a couple songs as a choir before, and then it gets to the song where I have the lead vocals or whatever, and we start singing, and she messes up the words, which makes me mess up the words, and then we're just up there just both fucking up, and then the whole school starts laughing, and it's like kind of lighthearted at this point. It's lighthearted because they're just like, oh, they're so cute.
Dang.
They fucked up, Of course,
Okay.
I don't feel
So still
that
a
way.
good
Like
laugh.
I don't feel too bad at this point, but I'm like, damn, I messed up. I mean, I ain't say damn, I was 8, but I'm thinking like, dang, like, I messed up. But it just went downhill from there. So, after that, like I said, everybody kind of laughed it off. They still applauded us at the end, and then we move on to the next song. But I was so thrown off by how we messed up, that as soon as we finished that song, I turned to the left and I started walking off the stage thinking we're done. And literally everybody else in the choir is just on stage watching me walk off, like, and the whole audience is quiet. And everybody just watching me like, what is she doing? And then I realized like halfway down the stairs that we're not done yet. And I just turned around like, oh. And I just run back up the stairs and get back in place. And so that's when I'm like super, super embarrassed. Like I'm just red. And then we sing the next song and I literally do the same thing again. Like I think we're done and we're not. And I walk off stage. And the whole school
It's over.
I think that's what
she was trying to go home.
Like once I messed up,
Right.
I'm like, get me out
Like
of
Napoleon
here,
Dynamite.
Like, subconsciously. So after the second
running
time,
away.
once I go back on stage, I'm just about to cry at that point. I'm not even really singing anymore. I'm looking sad as fuck. And finally it's over and everybody walks off stage. And the first thing I do, like when I walk off stage, I burst into tears immediately. And my music teacher is sitting there at the piano and I just kind of like kind of like run over to her and kind of like lay my head on her shoulder crying. She's like, it's okay. And I just run to my mom in the audience and jump in her lap and cry some more. And my whole family kind of like laughing it off too. They're just like, oh, it's nothing. It's okay. Because it's, it's small to them. But I was a little kid and it was huge to me. Cause, and then also I was the kid I was already bullied, So I'm like, now the whole school is seeing this happen. They really about to be laughing at my ass. So that was like my first. And that was my first performance. So it was just bad. My career ending. But the next year when I was in 4th grade, I didn't do the choir again. But my class was going to be in the Christmas assembly and I had the lead for the song that we were singing as a class. And I had like a really long part and it was completely by myself. And I kind of like avenged myself. Like, what is it like? What's the word when you kind of go back in and like just, okay, I don't know the word. But yeah, I went on stage and I killed it. And the whole school was there at that time too. And it was like, I got this crazy applause. Everybody was standing up. People was looking at me as I was walking past and telling me good things about myself. And then
You
as I'm
redeemed
walking,
yourself.
I didn't even know anybody in my family was going to be there. And I'm walking down the aisle, like somebody handed me flowers. And then I saw my mama in the crowd. I'm like, what are you doing here? And it was her, and she had invited some of her friends, and they were all just like talking about how great I sounded. So it was a complete 180 from the year before, and I felt like I kind of like made up for that, and I felt a lot better about it. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Ballad. Do you have any moments? I don't know. Okay, what age did you start like singing like seriously? Like when did you start taking it seriously? I know you weren't a child like I was.
I think I was 18. I was either 18 or 19.
Okay, so what was your first ever performance like for you? What was it and how did it go?
What type of performance? On what level are we talking about here? I just like
any kind of singing performance in front of a crowd of more than 10 people, I'm gonna say.
Okay. The first time was in a classroom. Yeah.
I don't like performing in small areas. All the eyes are just on you.
Yeah, every single eye on you. This is the very first time I think, even like, yeah, it was my first performance, like singing for more than what, two people, and it was the whole classroom. I forgot how many people in there, but definitely more than 10. And
What
I
was you singing?
because it's just the most awkward song to be singing, but at the time it was what was popular. But I was singing "Bed" by Jay Holiday.
Hello?
I'm dead. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
But okay, continue. Wait, what school was this?
This was in Brockton High.
And you was, well, you said you was 18.
I was 18 at the time. Yeah.
Wow. In front of the teachers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there was only one teacher.
Well, continue.
It wasn't even my idea. It was just like I was just put on the spot, and I didn't know of another song, because what I was doing at that time, like on MySpace, I was singing like covers, but yeah, I was singing covers. I was working my way up to sing covers, and that's a cover that I kind of sang. And then one of my classmates, she was just like, "Yeah, I saw your videos. I saw you." And someone was asking like, "Oh, what she was talking about?" She's like, "Oh, he sings." And then here comes like one of the most popular kids in the class, like walking by the table, and he's like, "Oh, you sing?" Like super loud. Like everybody heard. Now everybody's eyes like start making their way towards that direction. He's like, "Yo, sing something." And I'm like,
everybody always wants you to sing something on the
right.
spot.
And I'm like, "Yo, did he just okay? Well." And in my brain, it's like the worst thing you could do is kind of just like run away from a situation. So I was just like, I
Not me.
guess, right? You,
Not in my brain.
You want to go as soon as possible. But I was just like, okay, yeah. And that's the only song that was in my head because that's the video she was talking about. So I was like, okay, I guess. And I just started singing, and I was just an anxious and nervous wreck. My body was,
your voice was vibrating.
I'm pretty sure.
Shaking.
I'm pretty sure my body was vibrating. I can feel myself like just shaking. But people liked it. So
well, that's good.
Yeah.
At least you had a positive experience.
Yeah, it was a very positive experience because I think in that moment it was just like, oh, wait, I can do this? Like, really? Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Right.
Today.
It's like, y'all like this? Oh.
It's so funny that you sang Bed when you was 18 in front of all those people. You just reminded me of when I was at one of my cousins had this huge barbecue at their house, and my cousins, they were like, they're middle age, so they're much older than me, but they were friends with, well, the husband was friends with Common, and so Common's mom was there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they were doing karaoke, and there was this woman who sang Alicia Keys' song, "If I Ain't Got You." Oh my God, sang it amazingly. And so, of course, because I can sing, my aunt is like pressuring me to do it because Common's mom is there, like she about to sign me to a record deal or something.
Yeah.
And I did not like to sing in front of people when it wasn't like, when I didn't know that I was going to do it. You know, I got to mentally prepare for everything that I do, especially a performance. So I was just I don't like to do things on the spot like that. And so I kept trying to tell her no, and she was just pushing me. You know, I was a kid, so I felt like I had to listen to her. But I didn't know what I was about to do when I got up there. I didn't know what I was about to sing. I just thought of the first song that came to me, and I had been listening to Sierra's first album that week.
Uh-oh.
And
what did you sing?
I started singing
what
Thug Style.
Okay. All right. I was like, if she told me she was singing Goodies, I'm going to lose it.
No. That would have been way worse, but it was still bad because of the lyrics and stuff. And then secondly, I had my little sister up there with me. She was supposed to sing background with me because we'd be singing the song at home. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sing the lead, you sing the background. But she was like 5 years old at the time. I was like 12. And I even got down on my knees so that the microphone, like she could have access to the microphone. And she ended up just standing there staring at everybody the whole time, not singing nothing. So now I'm just on my knees for no reason, singing, I don't mind if you make me hot. And everybody's like, why is this child saying this?
Oh,
and
man.
so like people were not impressed at all. They were just looking like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, why? And I was just completely embarrassed and wanted to get out of there immediately afterwards. I was so mad at mine. But yeah, I just thought it was funny that I sang that inappropriate ass song and you sang bed.
I sang bed
in a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this episode of the Pretty Picnic Podcast.
If you ever